Hi, my name is Maanas. Welcome to my LifePage. Today we will talk about my first job, which was as a cloud software engineer. I did my BTech in computer science from Dehradun, and I was campus placed in Infosys in my final year. So, cloud computing is making use of a shared pool of resources which are on remote servers as opposed to using resources on your local machine. Which in a layman's language would mean that instead of using your computer for processing or for other functions, what you do is you outsource this work to other systems across the world, servers across the world. So all servers in a sense form a cloud, and your machine is the client machine. Now, it is a technology which is relevant for the future because paying based on usage is the modern trend, since the infrastructural requirements of establishing a business are enormous. And so if this aspect of establishment of a business or any IT work can be outsourced, that is something which suits a lot of people these days. Understanding algorithms and fundamentals. An algorithm is basically a step-by-step process of any function. For example, brushing your teeth in the morning can be a series of steps which can be listed as an algorithm. Say step 1 is that you pick up your toothbrush. Step 2 can be you wash your toothbrush. Step 3 can be you pick up your toothpaste, then you apply toothpaste, you brush your teeth, then wash the toothbrush again and keep the brush back at its original position. So all these steps are steps in an algorithm. So that is the primitive stage at which code actually begins. And so you should start analyzing everything in life as a step-by-step process. That is how algorithm building starts. Logic building. And I'll give you a small example to illustrate what I mean by logic building. All of us know what prime numbers are. So if I am supposed to write a piece of code which identifies prime numbers, I will ideally, or in most cases, check the divisibility of the number in question, starting with 2 and going up to all numbers till 1 less than the number, which is the one we are talking about. Now, this is one version of the code you can write, but another version would go up to half this number, because if you think about it logically, no number greater than half that number can actually can divide it. So small things like this can make the difference between writing good code and ordinary code, and therefore logic building and optimum logic building becomes extremely important. Wherever you work in the IT industry, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, you have air-conditioned offices, and since the IT industry has to attract the right talent for the job, so they have to, sugarcoat the job, and things like a comfortable cubicle, a comfortable chair, an air-conditioned office, a coffee dispenser are essential to a work place in IT. And so these are things you can almost take for granted. Then my time at Infosys Mysore was particularly delightful because there were numerous food courts which offered different cuisines. The food was subsidized. There were sports facilities like tennis courts and swimming pools, squash courts. There was a gym. There was a multiplex. So yes, if you work for a large company, these perks come with it. And so the work environment becomes very comfortable, and particularly for people who come from smaller towns, it's quite a dazzling experience. The job is monotonous. You follow the same schedule day in and day out, and some projects can last for years. And so when you are in the same project, writing the same kind of code and at the same rank designation, things can get very repetitive. Sometimes when a piece of code gets stuck, you can spend months trying to decipher where it went wrong. And also, you might get allocated a department other than coding, say something like testing, where you sit in front of a system which may or may not throw up error, which might not throw up an error for months. But all you do is sit there and look at the system and try and decipher whether there is something going wrong with it or not. A day at the desk of an IT engineer is not something very romantic. It starts at 10. So you reach office at say 10 o'clock. You code up to lunchtime. Then code an hour after lunch, say from 3 to 4 o'clock. After that, you go for a few meetings with clients or internal meetings in the organization. And then once you finish work at 5 or 6 o'clock, you stay on in the campus, of course, for the entertainment you deserve in the day, which could vary from playing a sport to watching movies to hanging out with friends. And so, yes, this is how a typical day is. And this is how most days are in the IT industry. So I hope that this video helps you in making up your mind on whether you want to become a cloud software engineer or not. Thank you so much for watching this, and cheers to LifePage.